Okay, so in Fusion, you'll see, and in Google Classroom, I should say, let's start here, that a lot of people are trying to do features, meaning like commands, filleting, extending, rotating, circular patterns, that kind of stuff. And you have to understand the best way that I can explain this is I'm going to go to my Stranger Things kind of analogy. Basically, you have your normal world and you have your upside down world. Okay? In Fusion, you have your sketching world and you have your 3D modeling world. Okay? If you try and perform a task that can only be done in one of those worlds in the opposite world, it doesn't work. For example, if I'm in Fusion and I draw a new sketch and I draw a square and I stop that sketch and then I try and press the fillet command right here, which is now I'm in 3D world, it doesn't work because I'm trying to 3D fillet an object that is two-dimensional. So I need to cancel that, and I'm going to go back into the sketch command, and then I am going to press the fillet in the 2D world. So then I press this, and then you'll see that they start highlighting, and then I can adjust them. Now, if I did extrude this, and I wanted to then fillet a corner or an edge here, I could then, in 3D world, use the fillet command. There's multiple ways to do the same thing in Fusion. That's why it's not like math where you can get it either right or wrong. It's a million different ways. So beyond all of that, you are going to see, okay, that's an important task when I start showing you version 2.0 stuff. So let's get into the actual tire first. The tire command. If you draw the tire, there's some things down here that people are kind of messing up on. These are not accurate, but they're just random dimensions to give you the idea. And I go through this and I draw, and this is how you're supposed to do it. You start with a line from the center, go straight up. Draw another line. From the center, you go randomly out. And then again, randomly out to the other side. People were questioning how to get that 4 degree. You go to drawing, or dimensioning I should say. Click, don't drag. Click, don't drag, just scroll. Click, 4 degrees, enter, I have my 4 degree angle. Same thing over here. Click, 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 4 degrees, enter. Now I have my two systems. It says within the document right here that within the drawing here, it says to go 4 degrees on either side. And then it also says to draw another circle underneath that is 0.1 off. Now again, I didn't do any drawing dimensions for this, but for your sake, let's say it's here. Then it says, I'm going to delete that center, then it says to use trim to get that piece by itself. Trim allows you to basically cut away pieces that you don't want. So you come up here, and next to fillet, I'm still in my sketch mode. Trim is a new command. You select trim, and what it does is just cuts away the fat that you don't necessarily want. Okay? And it leaves the part that you do want. I can press stop sketch, but first I'm going to draw this other circle just so that you guys can see, sorry, that I have that other outside. I'm going to stop the sketch, and then I'll have those other little pieces. Let's take those away again first, I'm sorry. Delete, delete, stop the sketch. Now I'm going to extrude. Now here's where people are also messing up. After you extrude this piece, don't extrude that other piece right away. People were asking about the distance. If you go back to the distance, scroll down, it says right here, it's 0.4 extruded out. Okay? So if I go back into Fusion and I extrude this out, I press OK as a new body. Now that part went away. I gotta make sure that it's visible by the light bulb. And now I'm going to extrude that piece. Now the important part that I didn't tell you about before is that you have to, instead of join, create as a new body. What that does is it limits these two pieces to separate components. Why do I need to do that? Because when I go into circular pattern, and again, now I'm in the 3D world, I can now select this or this. I only want this. My axis is either going to be the center axis or the circle itself, doesn't matter. And then I'm going to make it, I don't know, 18 times, whatever it is. Press OK, and now I have all those pieces. The new part that you guys don't know anything about is how would I draw that center little line inside of there? It doesn't tell you any dimensions, and it doesn't tell you how to do that. If you did a new sketch and tried to draw something in the center, it would be physically impossible. You only can select these 3 origins or surfaces. How are you going to select a surface on a curved surface? It doesn't work. So what you're going to do is I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to go into construct. This is the new version 2.0 kind of stuff that's new. I'm going to go to construct, offset plane, and then I'm going to select whatever plane I want or surface I want. It doesn't matter. Something that's perpendicular, or parallel, I'm sorry. Select it. You can move it anywhere you want. We want it right in the center, and I just randomly made this up, but that's not in the center. That is in the center-ish, right?
He said 1.15 is the center.
Okay. Okay.
And that looks like the center.
Very good. So now I can do a whole bunch of things. If I draw a new sketch, I don't only have those choices of those 3 things. Now I'm in the center. I can draw a new sketch on the center of this drawing. Why does that help us? Because when I draw a circle here and make it go, let's say, to about here, and then another circle, and you're going to be doing all this through the dimensions. Stop that sketch, and I try to extrude that. There's a couple things that are going to happen. I can now select just that, and a lot of people are freaking out about that. Now I have this piece. Now how am I supposed to do this? Well, if you look at extrude, there's a couple things that I never taught you. Right here, you can do symmetric or two-sided. The difference between these two-sided, you can make one go longer than the other, or you can adjust them separately. Symmetric just makes them go evenly both ways. So if I go to symmetric and then start expanding, what it'll do is expand it both directions at the same exact distance. Why does that help us? Because it'll give us the distance, and instead of cut, we're going to join, and then you press OK, and then it basically, now mine's way fatter than it's supposed to be, but you'll get your concept of drawing that piece in the center. Cool. Any other questions on the tire? Okay, that's it for version 1. Version 2.0, here's the new stuff. The very first thing, and these are really easy, they're really straightforward. I had some people finish today just on version 2. It's not supposed to be a lot, and that's why I want to get it over with, just so that you guys can get the concepts and we can move on. So this, version 2, as well as version 1, are due when? Sunday at midnight. 12:01. Go ahead and submit it at 12:01 there, Alex.
See what happens. If I actually do it, what would you do?
I would fail you, because that is
he said
later than the due date.
He said Sunday at 12:01, so no, he'd be good. That's the middle of the day.
Oh, okay. PM instead of midnight, yes. So anyways, the first part is called the mirror. You go into Fusion, and you are going to see, shh, I'm recording a video. The next thing you're going to see is that if you draw a sketch, and then you go into here and you draw this random piece, and there are no dimensions for this first part. Literally none. It's a sideways robot face that has 2 eyes.
You're so imaginative.
Okay? Sideways robot face. If you look back at the document, that's what it looks like. So then you're going to use the new command called mirror. If you come here and you're in Sketch, again, this is a 3D world, Sketch world. I'm in Sketch world. I'm going to press mirror, which is right here. I can select all of the lines that I want to basically reflect over a mirror line. The mirror would be placed literally right here. Press OK. And it literally reflects it over that piece. You can do it multiple times. Let's press mirror again. Do this, and then I can press these pieces. Mirror line again over this piece. And I can continue to do this infinitely. Why does that help us? Well, if you look at the third part, not the second, you're going to draw this piece, reflect it, and then reflect it again to create the connector. Okay? Instead of drawing this whole thing 15 times or 4 times separately, you draw it once, mirror, mirror, and you're done. Extrude it. Okay? And it takes you twice as long. Everything about manufacturing and engineering is production time. If it takes you longer, you're fired. I'm dead serious. Okay? So the other one, and we just talked about 2D features. Let's say I want to extrude this one. I stop this sketch. I extrude one of these. Now I got my robot face, right?
It looks like a Roblox face. Yes, it does.
It's his head. So then I want to do a feature. Now I stop the sketch. Now I'm going to go to create, mirror down here. I'm I'm going to mirror this image, and yours is going to come up as faces. You want to drop this down as bodies. Select the body, select the face that you want to reflect and use the mirror on, press OK, and it literally reflects it over. You can do it again, mirror, and I can do it the other way. I can do multiple bodies along different faces, and then I can just continue to do that over and over again. It helps you tremendously when you got things that are exactly the same, just like, for example, this one is called Mirror Features. It says it right here, Mirror Features. So if I go back to Google Classroom, you're going to see that on version 2 is right here. You are going to do mirror. The mirror is the robot head without an extrusion, just a straight mirror. Mirror feature is the one that I just drew, this box that you see within here. This piece, which are all dimensions, and then you're going to mirror it over as a feature. The third one is drawing this and mirroring it again, and then extruding it. The last one is called a loft. This is my favorite. Basically, if I have this sketch, I'm in a new sketch, and I draw a piece, I draw this random square, and you're going to have all dimensions, and I draw a gap or a valley in the center of that object. And I use, again, I taught you trim, cut this piece out. Now I'm going to stop that sketch, and I want to draw a new sketch, but not using one of these planes like I taught you today. I want to offset a plane. That plane, I want to offset it to a little bit, I don't know, whatever the distance of this object is going to be. I press OK. Draw a new sketch onto that new plane I just created using the information that I just got from here. I can then draw the same square over it. And draw a different triangle, different valley. And then I can trim the inside of that as well. I press stop sketch. Now I got two random objects. What if I wanted to connect those two and create a solid object? The last command and the new command is called loft. Loft is right here, and what this does is allows two profiles to connect to create a custom system. So if I go back to home, you try and draw this just like this with a valley from scratch, from a solid block. It's not easy. Without loft, it would be nearly impossible. Okay? So you draw the loft, and then again, if you look at Google Classroom and the assignment, it gives you all the dimensions that you need. It gives you the two triangles. You basically press loft to subtract the piece in the middle, and you're given your final product that looks like this. Okay? What questions do we have? None at all.